Hey guys, this is Chetan,
And this is Abby.
and welcome back to the Unprofessionals, episode 3. So, because the NBA season is over, we are in the midst of NFL training camps and everyone reporting, and we get some news that the bad man in Green Bay has is coming to an agreement to rework his deal to bring him back for the 2021 season. So, Aaron Rodgers will be playing for the Green Bay Packers in 2021. It's being said that his new contract is for the 2021 season, so we still don't know what's going to happen in years 2022 and 2023. And amidst all of this, we also have reports where him and Devontae Adams pretty much have an agreement that this is quote unquote the last dance. If you remember, that is Michael Jordan's run with the Bulls. Him and Scotty doing their last thing with Phil Jackson back in 1998, and Michael retires after the season, kind of thing. We don't know what direction Aaron Rodgers is leading in. We know he's wants to host Jeopardy. We know, but at the same time, he wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants to be, mentioned in the all-time greats. And this is just really interesting because we had full speculation that he wanted to be traded, that he wanted Brian Gutekunst gone, his GM, and everyone's trying to repair relations. And now it seems like, hey, he couldn't get his way. He couldn't get the GM fired. So now he's got to play out the season. Abby, what are your thoughts?
The bastard is back. That's my thoughts. I can call him that because I'm a Vikings fan. I believe that if you are a division rival fan of any team, you have full rights to speak how you want. Don't get personal because this is not the personal life. We're only talking about the person's professional abilities, career, accolades, etc. Aaron Rodgers is a bastard because he has haunted me for over a decade. He has only won one Super Bowl, which is the one thing I have as a reward. He's only won it once, and we've won it 0 times. So that's where I'm like, okay, at least he's not Tom Brady versus the Jets or the Dolphins or the Buffalo Bills, where this man has 6, and you guys are legit just warming him up for the playoffs. Because that's what they were. The AFC East was a warm-up for Tom Brady to get his arm warm before the playoffs began. And then he would take the rest of the anger when he was fully sweated up on the rest of the league. And that's why he had 6. And the Jets have won since 1969. The Buffalo Bills have none. The Miami Dolphins haven't won since the 1970 perfect season, wherever the hell that year was.
72.
So ridiculous, just ridiculous. But that's how I felt as a Vikings fan this year. I'm not trying to make this a Vikings argument, but they're connected because the 2 teams in this division that are expected to do anything. Now that we know Aaron Rodgers is back, him and that team, and then we have my Vikings. The Bears, stop it. Justin Fields, yeah, future, great. Andy Dalton, you can miss me with that. Defense is aging. They lost a lot of key players. They just traded away Anthony Miller 2 days ago. I don't know what they're thinking about that. So, and the Detroit Lions, listen, man, they were garbage with Stafford, Megatron, Reggie Bush, etc. Sue, they have nothing going for them. They're building their O-line. They're building their D-line. They have no QB. Jared Goff, he is what he is. They have a tight end, TJ Hawkinson. That's about it. The running back's good, DeAndre Swift. And they're building. They're building brick by brick. The contractor just got there. He ordered the supplies, but the house is not even close to being done yet. That's what the Detroit Lions are. And it's kind of the same way with the Bears because we don't know about Allen Robinson and how much longer he's going to be there. So now we get back to the 2 teams that actually mean anything or hold any real expectations for the season. Listen, I still expect with Aaron Rodgers. Now, we won't be expected probably to win the division because he's back and he's way better than Kirk Cousins. Anyone can tell you that. He's a future Hall of Famer. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is maybe the greatest quarterback of the generation, not counting Tom Brady. So, with that being said, he's back. I always kind of felt that he would be because it didn't make sense for them to trade him. He's back. So now Jordan Love basically is like, okay, we get to sit this man for 1 more year, and then he can take over. Kind of just like how it was with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years.
Yep,
and then he
didn't
got the
start till
job.
2000.
So this will be likely 2. I think this is it. They put that post up, both of them, because they knew what's about to happen. Aaron Rodgers is clearly the Michael Jordan in the situation. Scottie Pippen is being represented by Devontae Adams. Scottie Pippen continued to play for the Bulls after the 98 season. Michael Jordan obviously retired, and then he came back later on to play with the Wizards. Regardless, Aaron Rodgers, this is it. This is his final year. I don't know how this makes a difference because you couldn't win with them happy for 10 years. You won that one. Congratulations, you won that one. But when you have a player of this stature, you can't just win one. You have to win minimum, in my opinion, 3. When you have a player like this, you need 3. You got 1 in over a decade. I guess it's still a success because you got him. You've always been in the picture. You went to the NFC Championship game last year. You went to the NFC Championship game the year prior. You lost both of them. Tom Brady won his 7th ring. You still have 1. And you know what I'm trying to say here. But the point being, he's back. They have a very talented team. I don't see the huge upgrades offensively that you would want because you said Devontae Adams, the tight end Tanyan, I think is his name. He's good. He's solid. He's an up and coming player. I like him, even though I'm a Vikings fan. That's about it. Scandling's okay. What's the other guy? St. Brown, he's okay.
Lazard,
he's solid, but still, you're the same. If Aaron Jones, you re-signed him, so that was a plus. You still got the Mr. Big Quads back there. I forgot his name. AJ Dillon. Still got him. So listen, you're running it back. The Vikings are way better this year than they were last year. Their entire defense was gone. You got the defense back. The offense will be better because they added linemen. You got all the receivers there. So what does this mean for the Packers? Man, they're going to be expected to probably win the division, which they won't because we're going to do it. And this will be the final year of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I do love the fact that he's coming back because I want to see – you want to see greatness. I want to beat him. You want to beat the best. And that's where I didn't want this division to be boring. Nah. I want this division to be exciting. I want to go into the Lions' den, take Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams while they're sleeping, wake them up, take their meat, and then tell them, yeah, bitch, this is my division. That's what I want here. That's what we're going to get here. I feel the Green Bay Packers, they reached their limit the past 2 seasons. They got to the championship game, and they lost to the clearly better team. It wasn't even close. So right now, if I were to rank the teams in the NFC, because that's what we're doing here, training camp has begun. This is it. Training, we are here. We have arrived. This by Saturday, every single team will be in training camp, and that means football has arrived. If I were to rank the teams right now in the NFC, I'll go tier-wise. There's only 4 teams that I would put into somewhat like legit. Like if we were doing this in the NBA, top 4 seed, I'll do the top 4 seed of the NFC, which will be no order: Tampa Bay, the Rams,
Angeles, yep.
the Vikings. I'll put no order, and then I'll put the Packers. Those are the 4 teams for me that would be in the top of the NFC. I'm not putting Seattle there. San Francisco, They could be there. I give San Francisco the potential team that could be up in there. Yep. No team from the NFC East is in there. Bears aren't in there. Detroit's not in there. Who else am I missing? Arizona's not in there. And then Atlanta's not there. Saints definitely not there, especially with the news that we're about to get into. And neither is the Panthers. So there you go. There's really 4 to 5 teams, in my opinion, that realistically can win that conference. And Aaron Rodgers, congrats. You're back. You never really left. You're back. Now it becomes, where are you going shopping for your next home next season? So I think that's where this becomes now. If this contract is a 1-year guaranteed deal, which teams are now like, okay, you know what? We're going to keep the guy we got this year and then go all in next year. So that's your Giants. Listen, the first teams that I thought of when I read this news at 5 o'clock Eastern time, I'm like, okay, Giants.
Me too.
Denver, Miami. These 3, not the Eagles. I'm pretty sure he would not want to go to the Eagles. Those 3 teams have actual talent, and if he's on the team, they now legitimately are they can go somewhere. Or also another team I'll throw out there, Washington.
And I think the most important thing that all four of those teams have in common, defensive-minded head coaches. Think about it. It was the 2 years ago when they were playing San Francisco. They could not stop those running backs at all. They got run over, right? And every year the year that Aaron Rodgers won, they had a top 10 defense. So
because you had Charles Woodson, you had he had Clay Matthews in his prime.
You had
Sam Shields was on that team. You had
BJ Raji.
BJ Raji was on that team.
You had you had a defense that was fully stacked.
AJ
Hawk, Clay Matthews. Like the names go on. It's just they had a great defense. They had
5 receivers. Jordy Nelson was a baby. Dallin Driver was a veteran. Greg Jennings was in his prime. James Jones. Jermichael Finley got hurt. I think there was one more receiver whose name I'm forgetting at this time. Obviously, Devontae Adams was not there. There's one more guy. Jermichael Finley got hurt that season, but that would have been a 5th receiver. So,
let's see. But what I'm saying is all the teams that we talked about have a defense that, it's like when Peyton went to Denver, they built that defense. When Brady went to Tampa Bay, we already knew what their defense was. It was just Jameis Winston's turnovers really hurt that team, or else their defensive metrics would have had them ranked higher than they were. And it's things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where Aaron Rodgers ends up, but it also depends on the next news that we're going to bring up is Deshaun Watson reports to camp. And I saw this as like, how much of a distraction is this already for the Texans? And to be honest, it's less of a distraction than it is if he didn't show up. So Deshaun Watson reports to camp. He already knows that he's already requested a trade with the franchise. Teams that probably looking at him if he's available, the Denver Broncos, team that we just mentioned that could be in it for Aaron Rodgers. The Miami Dolphins, another team that could be in it for Aaron Rodgers. The asking price, the bare minimum asking price is at least 3 high draft picks. And optimally, they would want a combination of 5 high draft picks or ready to play players for Deshaun Watson. But given that, he still has 22 civil lawsuits against him that have not been cleared. And it's just a mess down in Houston. And we still don't know what's going to happen with that, because you can easily trade away your future for a guy that might easily just go on the commissioner's exempt list tomorrow. Right? So there's not much you can say on his situation right now. It's really touch and go. And what are your thoughts, Abby?
Listen, this is I don't even know what to say about this man, to be honest, because I don't even know who this man is. It's very hard to make a conclusion or a consumption or anything, judgment about a person that you don't know if this is ridiculous at this point. There's no way there's 30 total cases that have no bearing or no meaning. So, like, there's no way this is a conspiracy theory amongst 30 women total. So it was very hard for me to believe. Listen, you're innocent until proven guilty, but bro, this is ridiculous. And if none of us all of us are awaiting the press conference, wherever his first press conference will be. He's obviously got to deny it, in my opinion. I don't know what he can possibly think of. Like, we're seeing this in baseball with Trevor Bauer, where we're seeing and to be honest, Trevor Bauer's thing is nowhere near as crazy as this. At least somewhat. I'm not trying to say Trevor Bauer's situation is less significant. So don't think I'm saying that. I'm saying that at least in his situation, there was consent most of the part wise from what I've read and what we've been told. And that was with one woman. This is 30 total. I think 20 to 30 total, whatever. However you want to frame it. Over a two-year period of time. 2-year period of time. And Trevor Bauer, the news is coming out that the Dodgers players, there are players that don't want him back. Over one, I'm not trying to say over one. Like, I'm not saying that. Even one is too much, in my opinion. But the point being, how the hell are people going to perceive Deshaun Watson? How? If you have a wife, if you have a significant other, if you have a daughter, if you have a girlfriend, and you see this man, and maybe you know more than other people do because you've heard of something. You've heard rumors. You've seen things. You've read things. Whatever. So this is a very delicate situation, and it's up to him to answer the questions. They're garbage regardless. In terms of a football point of view, they're garbage regardless. They're not better than the Colts. They're not better than the Titans. You're trying to see if you're better than the other Clemson quarterback that you came from, Trevor Lawrence. Everybody say Clemson versus Clemson. So we're going to see which one's better at this point. Because both of you guys are hot garbage. The Jaguars are going to be bad. They'll be lucky to win 6 games. And the Texans will be lucky to win 5 games, in my opinion. They have one receiver, Brandon Cooks. They have a decent running back who's aging, David Johnson. I don't think I can name you a single lineman on that team. Oh, yeah, Tunsil, who you paid a mortgage, a fortune to get. I can't name you a defensive player, to be honest. If I really thought about Whitney Merciless. He's solid. And the rookie, they had a rookie last year, safety. Eric Reed's brother. I remember. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Him. That's it. You have nothing else. Like, that team is done. They're going to be punching bags for the rest of the league every week. That's an extra bye week for most teams now, the Texans. So, with him, they're still garbage. Without him, they're super garbage. At the end of the day, they both stink because they're both garbage. So, from a football perspective, this means nothing. What it does mean is the Texans were willing to say, yo, we'll listen. You got to give us 3 first-round picks. And more on top of that, if there's a team out there dumb enough with this situation circling where you're willing to give up 3 first-rounders and more for this dude and what he got going on, then you are foolish. You better be willing to risk your job at that point. So I don't even know what team will be willing to. Obviously, the Eagles are the hot name that we keep getting. The Eagles. Even though I don't know why you do that, because I love Jalen Hurts. He's making no money compared to this man. You already have 3 first-round picks potentially next season.
Yeah.
So why not upgrade your team instead of mortgaging your future for a guy who may be on the exempt list very soon or could be behind bars, to be honest. So Miami comes into mind. We always got Miami. We got Miami. We got I mentioned the Eagles, Denver, obviously. Washington. Washington is one team that's not being talked about enough with all these young guys being available. And who else? I don't think that's about it. Who else? Denver is the team that, in my opinion, is the most ready to go. If they got Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. Because they got receivers and a defense.
And that's my thing here is just, hey, if this whole situation with Deshaun Watson is, I don't want to say like for real, but like say he is put on the exempt list or he is behind bars, right? Aren't you better off waiting a year for Aaron Rodgers?
If I were Miami, I would wait a year because I got Tua. I get to see if this man's the real thing.
Yeah, and we
from Denver, I'm trying to get this man now.
But my thing is, I understand Drew Lock may not be the person there.
It doesn't matter even if he is, because Aaron Rodgers will still be better than him next year.
But my thing there is, why can't you ride it out for a year? Because you lost your number 1 wide receiver literally in the beginning of the season. Your running game is all right, but now you have a defense, and you add Pat Surtain Jr., Pat Surtain II into that defense. You have Sutton coming back. You have Patrick. You have Noah Fant. You have all these guys. You can wait a year. I think Washington is one of the teams that, maybe an immediate quarterback need can easily win them the division, hands down. And it can change their playoff outlooks just because they probably have the best defense, if not the second best defense in the NFC. So I I think some teams can wait, some teams can't. It's just, in my perspective, is I think you're better off waiting for Aaron Rodgers because you have no idea what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. Like you said, if Philly has 3 first-round picks next year, you're right. They should probably figure out what's going to happen with their team. They might have the best offensive line in football next year or this upcoming season, right? If that's the case and Jalen Hurts plays well, you're better off building towards the future with those top 3 picks. That's what I'm saying. It's just take a look at your team and figure out a way to do that. But in retrospect, I think you're better off waiting for Aaron Rodgers because you have no idea what's going to happen with the Watson situation.
I think there's one more team that we're not mentioning, and I think it's a perfect segue because of the next topic, which is Michael Thomas being hurt. Him being hurt and missing potentially, a quarter to half the season, you're not winning shit with just Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
So, and you're not going to beat the Bucs. You may not even be better than Atlanta. Actually, no. Or you may be the worst team in the division, to be honest. So, with that being said, the next year, though, if you have Thomas, Kamara, that O-line, Sean Payne, some good players on defense, these names open up again because you have Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. Top rookies, whoever's coming in. So the Saints are another team that could be willing to make a move. So basically now it's which teams align themselves up best for these guys because they're likely – the Saints could go all in for Deshaun Watson right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do that because they probably want to give Jameis Winston a shot. But now, segueing in, Michael Thomas, ankle issue, he on the PUP list today, he's out for potentially until week 7. You have no other receivers. I'll be honest. Jared Cook was your tight end. He's gone. I think he went to the Chargers.
Yep.
You have a very good O-line. Jameis Winston now has no weapons besides Alvin Kamara. Emmanuel Sanders is in Buffalo. Who you got? Traquan Smith? And who else?
Deontay Harris. And
he's a returner he's a playmaker. But they can't be your number 1 and number 2 receivers.
So this is their wide receiver room right now. They just signed Chris Hogan.
Oh, phenomenal. 7-Eleven's back.
Traquan Smith.
Oh, my God.
Marquez Callaway and Deontay Harris.
That's great. Yeah, you're screwed. You're screwed. You play Green Bay week 1. Play Green Bay. Let's look the schedule up real quick. Let's see how desperate this team may actually end up getting.
Like I said, it was Green Bay, it was New York, it was Washington, it was Carolina, and Tampa Bay, I believe, is the first 6 games.
Okay.
Or first 5 games.
First game, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is back. They're not going to win that game. They're playing at the Panthers. I don't think they'd win that game. They play at New England. Hell no.
New England, there we go.
Your Giants now legitimately can win that game. They could be 0-5, 0-4. Then you go to Washington, 0-5 with that D-line. You go to Seattle on Monday night. That could be 0-6. Then you got Tampa. You can go 0-7. And then you host – damn, this schedule is awful. Then you host the Falcons. Then you go to the Titans. Then you go to the Eagles. Then you play the Bills on Thanksgiving. Then you play – yo, man, I hate garbage Thanksgiving games. I hate garbage Thanksgiving games, except for the morning one because Detroit, we expect that. That's a tradition. Then you got the Cowboys, the Jets, the Bucks, the Dolphins. Yo, this team's not winning shit. I'm sorry. This team is not good. Drew Brees is gone. You have Jameis Winston. You have a very good O-line. You have a very good D-line. You have a decent secondary. Marcus Lattimore is very good. Linebackers, DeMario Davis, very good. But, yo, if you don't have Michael Thomas for 6 weeks, you're throwing the ball to Traquan Smith. It's not Drew Brees managing the team. It's Jameis Winston. You got Traquan Smith, Deontay Harris, Chris Hogan now. This is Alvin Kamara or bust. Alvin Kamara should be on everybody's He should be the first pick in fantasy right now, potentially, because he's got to be this poor dude. He may be touching the ball 40 times a game. I'd probably give him the ball 25 carries. I'd probably throw the ball to him 10 times because who else you got to throw it to? I'm pretty sure he's going to be likely more open than anybody else. So all those fantasy people out there, obviously we're right. August rolling around. Fantasy teams about to be drafted. Alvin Kamara, listen, I love Dalvin Cook. He's my favorite running back because he's on my damn team. Derrick Henry's a monster. But you got Julio Jones now, so you may have to throw the ball a little bit more. Christian McCaffrey's coming back. He's a monster. But right now, from what it looks like, Alvin Kamara is about to either be a fantasy darling or he ought to get abused because of how much work he's about to handle. And that's sad because you never want running backs because they're already devalued enough to have to go through stuff like this.
Yeah. It's still crazy to think. Michael Thomas has been working through ankle issues since last year. This is just like the nail in the coffin for the Saints is, you lose Breeze, he comes back, he has noodle arm. You go into the playoff game essentially a favorites because you've already beaten Tom Brady twice.
That was easy. That was stealing candy from a baby. That was stealing candy. I still remember that playoff game. That was stealing candy from a baby.
They demolish you in the playoff game. The only reason you scored is because you put in Jameis Winston for a free.
I think Green Bay is so happy right now because week 1, they started off right for them. And I hate it as a Vikings fan because no Michael Thomas. I don't give a shit how loud that stadium is. I don't think to make a difference.
Sorry, if you've got to stop one guy and you can't stop one guy, then there's real issues.
Exactly. You got to stop one guy, really. No disrespect to anybody. They're all NFL players, they're all professionals. But there's levels to this. So there's levels to the Jair Alexander. He gonna be taking a nap because I don't know who he gonna be covering. He gonna be taking a nap. At least last year you had Jared Cook and Sanders when Michael Thomas got hurt. So and you had Drew Brees obviously. So we'll see. We're what 45, 47 days away. It's right there, guys. Let's say almost a month. We're almost down to a month. Preseason starts in what? 2 weeks? 1 week? Whatever it is, it's almost there. Training camp. As soon as training camp rolls around, you smell it. You just got a different vibe to your day if you're a sports fan. Obviously, the NBA is gone, but still, NFL is coming, and NBA will be coming right back around. And we have plenty of NBA things to get into. But one more thing we have to cover for the NFL season so far right now for today is, this was pretty shocking to me. Chandler Jones, honestly, when healthy, maybe the best outside linebacker pass rusher there is. Obviously, Aaron Donald was the best D lineman, but he led the league in sacks, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, he had 20 and a half.
He is a monster. He has a lineage with his brothers. Obviously, we know Bones Jones is his brother, who is potentially one of the best UFC fighters of all time. And he's another Arthur Jones who played for the Ravens, who I think he's retired now. But still, 2 NFL players and 1 fighter who is a legend. That's a great lineage. But Chandler Jones requesting a trade, that caught me off guard because you got J.J. Watt now. You got some sort of relief. They re-signed Hassan Reddick, didn't they? Or no? I think they did.
Hassan Reddick. No, he's in Carolina with
he's back with Rule. All right. So then these 2 guys are basically going to be the pass rush for this team. If Chandler Jones was out, oh Lord, Arizona usually is going to end before it started because you need him. You need these 2 to work together. Your defense, you have what's the guy? What's the safety's name? Buda Baker. You have him, who is a star. You got Simmons, the freak, who finally started playing somewhat better. Getting the learning curve of the NFL last season. But that defense overall, they're okay, they're good, up and down. They're not dominant that crazy. You got to play San Francisco. You got to play the Rams. You got to play Russell Wilson. You need a defense. Patrick Pierce is in my team. He's in my state. He's in Minnesota. You got Malcolm Butler. Listen, Malcolm Butler, since that pick, since New England, he looked like I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but Tennessee did not get their money's worth with him. So you have him now as your potential number one corner. So Arizona, if Chandler Jones is traded, and I'm pretty sure there's a damn lot full of teams willing to trade for Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
I think a reunion with New England will be amazing. Get back to New England. Your Giants would love a Chandler Jones, in my opinion. A lot of teams out there. I would love him in Minnesota, opposite Danielle Hunter. There's a lot of teams. There's no lack of need for pass rush in this league. And Chandler Jones is a premier edge rusher. So whatever Arizona you got to do, you got to cut that contract in half, give him some new money, guarantee him more money, whatever he wants. He's 31, so he's getting up there, but he's not there yet. He has probably 2-3 more years of – so front load that contract if you can. Give him the money now because you need him. You need him because you are in the toughest division potentially in football. And Chetan, your thoughts on Chandler Jones?
I mean, I'm looking at this, and you're right. This defense is not – you take Chandler Jones off this defense, right? You have an aging J.J. Watt as your premier pass rusher. And let's just make it clear. If you're playing the 49ers, the guy who's blocking him is future Hall of Famer Trent Williams. At this age, I give Trent Williams that matchup all day, right? You got who's the guy who they just traded for? Who did Seattle trade for again? It was Rodney Hudson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Rodney Hudson. You got Andrew
Gabe
Whitworth.
Gabe Jackson is the other lineman that went to the Cardinals.
Gabe Jackson. But I'm saying, just overall, is just who you're going against that's protecting the quarterback that you're about to play in your own division. Andrew Whitworth. You got
Dwayne Brown.
Exactly. You're going against these guys, and your best pass rushers are aging J.J. Watt.
Trent Williams is the biggest, baddest man out there.
Exactly. And you lose Chandler Jones, and you have no pass rusher, essentially, right? You're going to have a rookie middle linebacker in Xavier Collins. So your linebacking core is going to be whoever replaces Chandler Jones, Collins, Simmons, Golden. And
that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. But both you and I were not impressed with their cornerbacks after they don't re-sign Patrick Peterson. It's just that defense with and without Chandler Jones, completely different defenses. With Chandler Jones, you can be a top 10, top 12 defense. Without him, it could be a bottom 10 defense. That's how much of a difference Chandler Jones makes. Because he had 1 sack last year in 5 games. But when he plays,
he got hurt. Yeah, then he got hurt.
But when he plays all 16 games, you're looking anywhere between 17 to 19 sacks a season. That makes a world of a difference, especially when you're going against Russell Wilson, when you're going against
Matthew Stafford, Jimmy G / Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And the rest of the NFC.
That makes a world of a difference. Yeah, Tom Brady under pass rush is not Tom Brady. Most players aren't. But you know exactly what if you're going to be a playoff team, you need a pass rush. And if Chandler Jones is not there, I mean, we hate talking about other people's jobs, but we've been talking about Cliff Kingsbury for a while. You don't have it's a make it or break it year for him. Either you guys show up or you don't, and Chandler Jones makes the world of a difference on this defense.
Well, regardless of if Chandler Jones shows up, the Cardinals show up, if anyone shows up, training camp, which they have to because or else they will be fined heavily, and you can't take these fines back nowadays. Yeah. We will show up with content, with the NBA, with the NFL, with baseball, with everything, because that's what we do best, in our opinion. But for this one, NFL edition, that's a wrap.
And then you guys can catch Fill Your Pockets, comes out every morning on YouTube. But for now, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.